Hey, what's up you guys, it's Tyler. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Today we are talking about some reasons, some examples, some stories, I guess, of why I hate working at a pet store during the holidays, mainly Christmas and Easter. Let's start with, I work at a chain retail store, so we sell a lot of animals to people that do not care about animals, period. Like, they're just looking for a little creature to put on display, which is horrible. Honestly, most hated part of my job is dealing with that. But holidays, it gets so much worse. So it's December, it's Christmas time. People want to get their kids little pets, little pets. A few weeks ago, actually I think it was probably a couple weeks ago, this dad came in looking for a hamster and a guinea pig, and with him he had two other hamsters that he got from another store. So we are a female store. That's how my company does it, is they separate stores by male and female. So we're a female store. We only sell female, like hamsters, guinea pigs, gerbils, mice. And he got these two hamsters from another store, a male store. If you know anything about hamsters, you cannot put hamsters together in general, but especially not a male and a female. They're gonna have a million babies if they don't kill each other, right? So I'm asking this man, like, do you have separate enclosures? Do you have like separate tanks? Because they should be kept in tanks, not cages. And he's like, no, I want to get them friends. Like, I just got them and I want to get them friends. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, they just can't be kept together because they're not friendly. Like, at this point, I didn't know that they were males. So I'm like, they're going to kill each other, probably. They don't get along. When they get older, they get nasty. They hate each other. They fight. Your kids, he had two children with him, would probably not like to see their hamsters die. I didn't say that, but like, your kids probably don't want to wake up and have their sweet marshmallow dead because Randy killed it. I don't know. I don't know what you name a hamster. I don't know. Spot, Fluffy, I don't know. Your kids probably don't want to see that. So the good thing would be, let's listen to the advice and not put all of the hamsters together. And he's like, okay, well, I want to make them have babies. Like, there was like an language barrier there. So it was very short sentences that he was speaking to me. He wants to make them have babies. And I'm like, okay, so we unfortunately cannot sell animals in general for breeding purposes. I mean, I guess like fish, we could do that, that's fine. But my company does not allow people to breed our animals. I don't exactly know like why that's a policy, but it is policy, at least from what I've heard, that we cannot sell animals to be bred. So I'm telling him, like, I'm sorry, like, we can't sell them for breeding purposes, but also they will probably kill each other. And if they don't, you will have a million babies. Like, you cannot take care of a million hamster babies. I don't care if you think they're cute and they're fun and all of these things. It doesn't matter. And he's like, okay, I have separate tanks. Like, it's fine. Like, I'll put them in separate tanks. I have separate tanks. And I'm like, no, you told me you didn't. You told me you didn't. You said you were going to put them all together. You cannot change your story. This is another thing that I hate, is I tell people something and then they go on and they're like, oh, actually, you know what? I have separate enclosures. I have separate tanks. I have separate this and separate that. Like, just give me them right now. I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't really know how to like word it. So I was like, I'll be right back. But I don't know. I'll be right back. And I went to talk to my manager and they told me, don't sell the animals. It sounds like he wants to breed them, which we don't do, but also you can't put the hamsters together, so don't sell them. I hadn't even asked about the guinea pig because the hamster was just like such a red flag, like, you're not getting a guinea pig either. Anyways, so I go back and I'm explaining like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't sell animals based on the information that you told me, that you don't have separate enclosures and you wanted to breed them. Like, I just don't feel comfortable selling you a hamster today. And he's like, no, I want the hamster. Like, I have separate enclosures. I'm going to get the hamster. Like, just give me that one. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable selling you an animal today based on our previous conversation. He starts yelling with his hands in my face. Like, he almost hits me multiple times because he's like, just like, what is wrong with you? Like, why? Just give me the hamster. And I'm like, I've only been like almost physically assaulted one time before this, and it was just because a lady threw a receipt at me. So I was just like, I stepped back a little bit, I'm just watching him, and he continues. Like, I'm not even talking at this point. He continues, like, throwing his hands in my face, and I'm like, okay, so I cannot talk to you if you're going to yell at me, because he's yelling very loudly at this point. And I told him I would get the manager, and he's like, oh yeah, get the manager. Like, go get her. And then she goes over there, and he tells her a completely different story. And I'm not going to, like, talk bad about my manager, but the manager believed them and their fake story that they had all different enclosures and that they weren't going to breed them after they literally told me the opposite, that they only had one tank and or one cage. I don't even remember what it was. They were going to put them all together and they wanted them to have babies. So they got a hamster and they got a guinea pig. Guys, that made me so mad. And then this second story, this happened in the same day, by the way, like within 2 hours. The hamster guy, that happened afterwards. But now let's talk about bird family, bird guy. I don't know. Okay, so I get called to the bird enclosure for assistance with birds. People don't buy birds very often, and if they do, it's usually people trying to put them in a tiny cage, which is really depressing and sad, and they only want to get one. It's not right. Most people, after you kind of explain to them like all of the life changes, literal life changes that you need to make in order to have a bird, no vaping, no smoking, no incense, no candles, no harsh cleaning chemicals, no non-stick pans, like it's a lifestyle change. You are likely not fit for a bird, like automatically. You will probably have to make life changes, is what I'm saying. If you want a bird, you gotta let them fly around, take them to the vet, all of these things. So birds are not good pets in general. A lot of kids want them and they rehome them in a month because they don't like the birds. Anyways, I get called to the bird enclosure. It's all adults, so I'm like, cool. No kids, no screaming kids banging on the bird enclosures. Like, we're off to a good start. And this guy just like so confidently says, hey, I want to get 5 birds. And I'm like, okay. Do you have any birds already? And he's like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm asking him the questions like, what cage do you have? Have you had them before? Do you know anything about birds? And he's like, oh, I was just kidding. I don't want birds. I was just joking. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. Ha ha ha. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's great. I don't know why you would joke about that. I don't know. So I start to walk away, and so there's 4 people here. There's 2 women that don't really talk, and then I'm not gonna flick you off. There's a woman who actually wants the birds, and then there's the guy who ends up yelling at me at the end. Anyways, the second girl, ends up asking like, hey, I want a bird. And I'm like, okay, so do you know anything about birds? Have you had birds before? Blah. And she's like, no, I don't know anything about birds. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they are a big commitment. They live a long time. They can live 10 years. She was talking about the parakeets. So they can live 10 years, possibly more. You have to make a lot of lifestyle changes. No vaping. Blah. I told her that whole list. And she was like, oh, hell no. Like, I don't want birds. No, I can't do that. And the 2 other friends were kind of asking like other things. Like, do you have to let it fly? Do you have to do this? Do you have to do that? And I'm like kind of telling them the very basic information of having birds. And the second girl is just listening like, hell no, I don't want a bird. I don't want a bird. And then the 2 girls are like, I told you, like, you should not have even come here asking for a bird. So they don't want a bird. I walk away. Everything's fine. I end up getting called to the bird enclosure again, probably like 3 minutes later, and they need help with the birds again. She starts off just saying, I want to get a bird. And I'm like, okay, what about all those, I didn't say this, what about all those life changes that you said that you would not make? And that you didn't want a bird? What happened to all that? I don't know what happened, but I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you're making an impulse decision right now, and it's not a good idea to get an animal on an impulse decision. Just saying. So she wants 1 parakeet. I'm trying to explain like that's not great. Like I'll slay the bird. It's fine. But you want to have 2 unless you're going to be home like all the time and you're going to interact with the bird. But even then, it's not ideal to just have 1 bird. And she's like, oh, it's okay. I'll get another one later. And I'm like, okay. If you get another one later, you're gonna have to quarantine it. They might not get along. They might hate each other. They might fight. Like, there's no guarantee that will go well if you do it later. So I would definitely recommend just getting them both at one time. But it's definitely your decision if you want to get another one later. And she's like, yeah, I'll get another one later. And I'm like, okay. So do you have a cage set up? Do you know like what you want to get for the bird? She's like, oh, I have the cage picked out. And she shows me the smallest cage that we sell, which is about 1 foot high and like 6 inches wide. We should not be selling these. I hate chain pet stores because they sell things that are like horrible for animals. But she's like, I want that one. Like, I'm just gonna get that and I'll get the bird and I'll be good. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, so they can't live in something that small? So do you know like what cage you're gonna move to eventually? And she's like, yeah, I'll get a bigger cage when I get home. And I'm like, oh, okay. Do you know like what cage you want to get? Because a lot of the cages that we have here are not really large enough, and I don't know. So I'm just asking that, and she's like not really answering. She's like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. And then the guy, this is when the guy starts getting crazy. The 7 foot tall man, I'm 5'4". This man's up here yelling like, you're gonna get her the bird. You are going to get her the bird. And I'm like, I just have to ask some questions about like the house of the bird and stuff. That's just something that I have to know is like where it's going to be living long term, if that makes sense. And he's like yelling. Like he then asked the girl, like, do you want this bird? Because I will make her get you that bird. And I'm over here like, what the hell do you mean you're going to make me get her the bird? What are you talking about? I didn't say that. But in my head, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you? I'm not getting you a bird. Unless you're going to take care of it properly. I'm not getting you a bird because you told me to get a bird. You're not my boss. If you were my boss, I would still not listen to you. Because I don't sell animals that are going to a bad home. Anyways, at least in most cases, I can say no. Sometimes our company is not great, certain situations. But this was a clear no, like this bird could not live in this house. But you want to know what else? You want to know the actual crazy thing that made me be like, absolutely no, like, no. So she kept saying, I will get a cage when I get home. And I'm like, oh, when are you gonna go home? Are you going home soon? And she's like, yeah, I go home tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, how far are you from here? And she's like, oh, not far, whatever. And then the guy, 7-foot tall man, is yelling again, like, you're gonna get her that bird, like, I don't care. She's leaving tomorrow for Tennessee to go back home. Like, she's not getting a giant ass cage and driving that home. And I'm like, you wanted to bring a parakeet that you bought today and bring it to Tennessee tomorrow? You were gonna drive a new bird 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours? I don't know where in Tennessee you're going, but no, I'm not selling you a bird to go drive to Tennessee the next day. Like, go get a bird in Tennessee. I know there's pet stores up there. I've been to pet stores there. You're good. You can get a bird there. I'm not selling you a bird. So the guy's like yelling more and more. Like, he basically just said the same thing over and over. Like, get her the bird. Why are you asking all these questions? It doesn't matter. I just want the bird. I don't know if they were like all friends or if they were family. I don't know what was going on there. But at that point, he was taking it personally. He was like, get me the bird. So I don't know what's happening. But I'm like, I'm sorry, like, the bird can't travel all the way to Tennessee if you just got it today and you're leaving tomorrow. Like, that's just not safe. It's not a good idea for the bird. And yeah, he started yelling more things. He started cursing at this point. And he walked out. He was like, you know what? We'll just go somewhere else. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, finally, it's over. Yeah, it's over. So my manager was walking back to the store because they went like to go for a walk on their lunch. Manager heard them cursing, leaving the store, like, fuck this, like, this is fucking stupid, I just want a fucking bird. Like, all of this commotion, yelling, cursing in the parking lot. And they were like, the manager was like, what is happening? So I told them what's happening. They're like, oh, you did the right thing. Like, that's crazy. And yeah, you know what happened? I got a really bad review that got sent up to my manager saying that I am racist. Not the first time. Based off selling an animal, this is the second time. I actually told the story of the first time that this happened. It was a hamster guy. And I asked what habitat he wanted. Or what habitat he had. And he was like, you're racist, man. I don't know. Retail's crazy. But that happened. Tall 7-foot man, called the store, started cursing at my manager, like screaming on the phone. And she was like, I'm not dealing with this. Like, I will send you up to my store manager and he can help you. So store manager calls him, and 7-foot tall man is yelling on the phone, not letting my store manager talk. Store manager's like, do you want me to help you? Because you have to let me talk if you want me to help you. And he'd like, shut up immediately. So yeah, but after that, he still did write me a really bad review and it went up to corporate. So yeah, another story. This one's going to be quick because it's kind of basic. It happens all the time. People that want to get fish for parties, and this isn't specifically like holidays, like it could be a kid's birthday, a family event, like whatever. But it does happen a lot with Christmas and New Year's. People want to get a random assortment of fish and like give them away or have them as centerpieces, like for weddings, whatever. So this lady comes in and she's asking me for help with gravel for a vase. I'm not even asking anything about fish at this point because I don't even want to get into it. And she's like, I'm trying to get 15 or so fish in this vase, but like I want a random assortment of fish. So at this point, she has made it clear she wants to put fish in the vase and 15 at that, and then also variations, many different types of fish. If you know anything about fish, they cannot be kept in a vase, but also you can't just put random assortments of fish together and hope that they get along. That's not how it works. No filter, no heater, you can't do that. So I'm kind of explaining that to her and she's like, it's fine, like I'm giving them away. At the end of the night, it's for a party. And I'm like, it's gonna be really hard for you to find a place that will sell you fish for a party. Like, we don't do that here. And she like kind of ignored that. Like, she just went on talking about like her event. So she's doing this raffle. So she's gonna have like 15 fish, 20 fish in a vase, and then she's doing a raffle, and the people that win get a random fish. Her party is Saturday. Today is Thursday, so I'm assuming she will be coming back Friday or Saturday for the fish. I don't want to deal with it. I do not want to deal with it. I'm so tired of people treating fish like decorations. And I know a lot of you probably do not know much about fish, and you're like, oh, bait it in a bowl. That is horrible. Do not do that. Please research your animals before you get them. They're not decorations. I'm not going to go on a whole rant explaining fish care, but it's just so crazy to me that people of fish like decorations and not animals and not alive and whatever. This happens so often. Like, people want to get goldfish, put them in bowls. They're going to die in a couple weeks. Like, it's fine. Like, my kid's not even going to notice. I'll just come back here and keep buying them. And I'm like, this is an animal. And almost 80% of the time they're like, I don't care. Like, it's really just a decoration to keep my kid like focused on a fish, because I know it's going to die in a couple weeks. So I'll just come back and buy more. They're 20 cents. And I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? I don't say this to them, obviously, but I'm just so tired of these interactions with people that do not treat animals like living animals. I don't know, but those are some very basic stories about why I hate working at a pet store during the holidays. There are obviously a lot more reasons, like on the retail side, but the animal side, like the selling animal side, is my most hated part of my job in general, but especially during the holidays. I hate it because people just don't care about the animals, and it sucks. So that was it. I could make a million videos on what I hate about pet store retail, but those are my 3 little stories for you. So I'll see you next video. Goodbye.